When I was a kid, I loved to, play pretend in Smash Bros. Others did that as well, I assume, yeah? These characters were like my dolls, I guess. I'd make Yoshi and Kirby hang out and be friends, I'd put Luigi through a divorce, but more than anything, I kinda just tried to recreate scenes from real video games. Smash Bros was this huge crossover that was exciting because it was a chance to see characters cross between worlds and interact with each other. And here I was, trying to make it look like this screenshot was from Wind Waker, when in actuality, it was from Super Smash Bros. Brawl. I promise I had friends as a kid. I don't know why this is how I spent my free time. This has all been a long road to a small house. Essentially, I like to recreate scenes from games in Super Smash Bros. Put Flood in Delfino Plaza, put Link in Hyrule Castle, put Rob in... Anyways, that was when I was 10. But now, at a much more mature age of 28, a more sophisticated question has entered my mind. How many stages in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate have their original music? What I mean by that is this. Mushroom Kingdom from Smash 64 is themed around overworld stages from Super Mario Bros. The music that plays in this stage is called Ancient Kingdom, which, okay, Smash 64 came out in 1999. I don't think it has any right to talk about what's ancient and what isn't. But this theme is a remix of the Super Mario Bros. Overworld theme, which plays in Super Mario Bros. Overworld stages. See what I mean? The question I seek to answer is, how many Super Smash Bros. Stages have music to match their location? I want to be in Delfino Plaza, chilling with Flood, as the Delfino Plaza theme plays. So because of how, arbitrary this all is, I have a couple of stipulations. I'll consider a stage to have a complete match if the location in the stage has its original music from the location's original appearance. If the location has appeared in other capacities and has music that matches that, I'll consider it a partial match. A partial match will also arise if I think there's an interesting fringe case to be made for a piece of music. You'll see what I mean when they come up. I think that's really all there is. Will this be an interesting topic? We will see. But probably not. Starting off with Peach's Castle from... Ultimate claims it's just from Super Mario, but it doesn't exactly take a detective to figure out that this stage is based on Peach's Castle's appearance in Super Mario 64. Just look at those trees. While a couple elements of this stage, such as the bridges to nowhere, aren't from Peach's Castle proper, instead appearing in other areas of Mario 64, and despite this being a very, a loose interpretation of Peach's Castle, I'd say that's where we are. Outside the castle, to be precise. The problem then becomes, the outside of Peach's Castle doesn't have any music in Mario 64. So for the sound to be accurate to the original game, there'd have to be, no noise besides birds chirping. If only you could get environmental sounds on this stage. So there's no full match for this stage, already. Going inside the castle walls doesn't help much either, as Peach's Castle theme is surprisingly nowhere in the entirety of the vast list of Mario tracks in Smash. But there's more music that plays inside Peach's Castle. When Mario dives into a painting, for example, a little jingle plays, the first 6 notes of the Mario theme. If you count that little jingle as being music from Peach's Castle, every single Mario theme rendition in Smash counts. Ground theme, Super Mario Bros. 64. Super Mario Bros. Medley. Ground theme, Super Mario Bros. Ground theme, Super Mario Bros. Melee. Ground theme, Super Mario Bros. Brawl. Ground theme, band performance, Super Mario Bros. Ground theme / underground theme, Super Mario Bros. They all count! Didn't think I'd have to break this thing out for the very first stage we looked at. Alternatively, you can ignore all that and say slider counts. Technically, that iconic slide is considered the castle's secret slide. So make of that what you will. I think all of these are complete stretches and I don't really want to count any of them. So let's move on to other Peach's Castle appearances. In the Mario Kart 64 course Royal Raceway, you can kind of just drive up the Peach's Castle like a DoorDash driver. And the music that plays in Royal Raceway is Raceway from Mario Kart 64, a track that is, indeed, present in Super Smash Bros. In the Mario Kart category, which is kept separate from the rest of Mario, meaning that's another dead end. The only other thing that could remotely count is that Peach's Castle appears pretty prominently in the background of 1-1 and New Super Mario Bros., and the music that plays in that stage is present and playable for Peach's Castle in Smash. Does that count? Look, I'm gonna go ahead and call this one a full failure, I think. We've tried so many angles, but in no Mario game can you run around the outside of Peach's Castle with music that's also in Smash Ultimate. Except for Super Mario Odyssey, baby! You can play whatever music you want in that game at any time. You want to listen to New Donk City while exploring Peach's roof? You can do it. You can even listen to Above the Clouds, a remix of the bonus room theme from Super Mario World, which is a prominent part of the Smash's Mario World medley. Let's leave this one alone. Let's put failure up there with like 20 asterisks. We're off to a really, really good start.
Hey, editing Fred here, because I realized that the Super Mario 64 main theme remix in Smash ends with the opening sequence from Mario 64, which does take place literally right outside of Peach's Castle. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. So I'm going to count this as a partial match because that's pretty true to the location. Yeah. Anyways, moving on.
Congo Jungle is the first world of Donkey Kong Country, and the Smash stage is very clearly based on the 3 jungle levels that appear in said world. This one is pretty straightforward. The music that plays in this jungle levels of Donkey Kong Country has been remixed over and over again for Smash. Jungle Level 64, Jungle Level Melee, Jungle Level Brawl, Jungle Level Jazz Style, Jungle Hijinks, and Swinger Flinger all satisfy the requirements. And if you want to be pedantic and suggest that since the stage is called Congo Jungle, it should only count for the literal map screen of Congo Jungle, boom, map page / bonus level. You can even theoretically count Funky's Fugue, since Funky's airport has a location in Congo Jungle. No matter how you look at it, Congo Jungle has a complete match. Though Smash denotes it as being from the Zelda series as a whole, and even though the first appearance of the titular castle was linked to the past, Hyrule Castle is pretty clearly based on its appearance in Ocarina of Time. Look at those weird angular spires. Only OOT would have that freakish geometry. Anyways, in Ocarina of Time, the approach to Hyrule Castle is accompanied by the Hyrule Field theme, which is a remix track in Smash Ultimate. You could also make the argument that the Ocarina of Time medley counts as well, a piece that prominently features Zelda's Lullaby, the theme that Link learns and hears for the first time in the castle garden. Gonna call this one a complete match. Okay, this next one's weird simply because the Super Happy Tree isn't like a place in Yoshi's story. It's more of like a thing. I guess the Smash stage specifically depicts the Super Happy Tree as it appears in the ending credits. And, well, what do you know, Yoshi's Story's end credit theme is an ultimate, titled Yoshi's Tale. So like, I guess if you want to pretend that you're living through the credits of Yoshi's Story, the option is yours. Dreamland is the setting of the Kirby series and first appeared in the appropriately titled Kirby's Dream Land. The stage itself is based on the level Green Greens, more specifically the fight against Angry Tree. The music that plays for Green Greens and Kirby's Dream Land does exist in Smash as Green Greens Melee, Green Greens for 3DS/Wii U, and Kirby Retro Medley. But unfortunately, the theme that plays for the boss fight against Wispy isn't in the game, which makes me not want to give this one a complete match. Wispy Woods of course appears in future Kirby games, and a lot of those games have their boss theme featured in the boss theme medley from the Kirby series. So either way you want to look at it, this is a partial match to me. Saffron City is the largest town in Pokemon Red and Blue, and its background music is shared with Viridian City, a theme that plays at the end of the Smash remix Road to Viridian City, making this a pretty set-in-stone complete match. But if we want to talk about other partial matches, Saffron City has a Pokemon Center, gym, and I don't know, battles take place here too. But all of that is not necessary to talk about. Mushroom Kingdom. I don't know why that makes my voice crack to say, but it's the one I used as an example earlier. It's the easiest one here to match in the whole game. I'm just gonna put all the matches up on the screen. I hate that little bouncing fuzzy beetle in the background so much. This is a war zone. Why is he having so much fun? Guys, please don't make me go down the Peach's Castle rabbit hole again. Princess Peach's castle from Melee has the exact same considerations as Peach's castle from 64. Let's just leave that can of worms behind. Rainbow Cruise is very loosely based on Rainbow Ride from Super Mario 64, made evident by the winged ship and the weird floating platforms. And the music for this Super Mario 64 stage, Slider, is in the game both as a remix and in its original form, making this a complete match. Congo Falls isn't real. You heard me right, I'm calling out Super Smash Bros. Sakurai himself. He just made this one up. Congo Falls? The original name for this one is Congo Jungle, the first area of Donkey Kong Country, but there's no waterfall. Now you might bring up the fact that Donkey Kong Country 3 has a waterfall, looks nothing like this one. That one's in the Northern Hemisphere, you uneducated swine. Also, in Ultimate, this one isn't even denoted as being from Donkey Kong Country, just Donkey Kong. Where are these falls? I shall consider Congo Falls to be disqualified. You cannot match music for a place that does not exist. Okay, thank goodness. At the very least, Jungle Japes exists. A jungle area in Donkey Kong 64, no single part of Jungle Japes matches its Smash stage counterpart. Frankie is there, but in like a weird barrel building, not this cozy cabin. Whatever, the stage says this is Jungle Japes, the game says it's from Donkey Kong 64, Jungle Japes this is, I guess. Either way, the music in Donkey Kong 64's Jungle Japes is a remix of the Donkey Kong Country theme, so everything that we counted for Congo Jungle earlier counts here for a complete match. Okay, Great Bay. Now that's a faithful recreation. If you manipulate the camera, you can even see a piece of heart off screen in its original in-game location. That is dedication. Even if technically the structure's been turned to the side a bit, who cares? Anyways, once Link defeats Horrible Fish Freak and restores the... What exactly does Link fix in the Great Bay? Woodfall was poisoned, Snowhead was too snowy, Great Bay was what, wet? I don't know. Anyways, once peace is restored to Great Bay, the eerie background music is replaced with the Termina Field theme, and both the original version of this theme and a remix are featured in Smash Ultimate. Complete match. Temple is another one of those weird early Smash era stages in which it's very unclear as to what it's actually supposed to be a reference to. Based on the music, name, and vague appearance, it seems to be loosely based on the various temples scattered around Zelda 2: The Adventures of Link, even though the stage itself is said to just be from The Legend of Zelda. Either way, assuming we're dealing with Zelda 2 temples, temple theme from Zelda 2 should give us the match we seek, as would Great Temple/Temple. Fun stuff. Man, Melee loved its creative liberties. This is Brinstar from Metroid. And this is what the Melee devs thought it reminded them of. I mean, I guess they got the yellow acid right, but why is the floor so fleshy? Why does it feel like I'm in the middle of a fish's stomach? Anyways, Brinstar's theme music Brinstar has 3 different remixes in Smash Ultimate, so go ahead and take your pick. Complete match. Yoshi's Island is the name of the starting area of Super Mario World, and Yoshi's Island Melee is pretty clearly based on the level design of the SNES platformer. Athletic themed Super Mario World is a pretty clear match, a theme that plays for various levels throughout the game. There's other songs in the game that could potentially match with a stage based off of a Mario World level, such as the Super Mario World medley, but for some reason Super Mario World's soundtrack is split between the Mario and Yoshi groupings. I guess it was never meant to be. Yoshi's Story is the name of a game, not a level. What are you even doing, Sakurai? Yoshi's Story is pretty clearly based on the World 1 levels of the aforementioned game. The music that accompanies these levels is remixed both as Yoshi Story 64 and Yoshi Story Melee, giving us another match. The Fountain of Dream, oh my god, I don't know why my voice is cracking so much the moment I decide to record a video. I sound like a 15-year-old. Anyways, the Fountain of Dreams is the setting for the fight against Dedede in Kirby's Adventure, and said boss theme is repped in Smash by the Kirby Boss Medley. In fact, it's the very first theme in the medley. Interestingly enough, the Melee version of Fountain of Dreams did eventually appear in a Kirby game, Nightmare in Dreamland, where Dedede fought with the classic dramatic rendition of Gourmet Race as the background music. So that's another partial match, I guess. Although the circumstances behind it I know are kind of wild. Let's just give this stage a complete match and move on. Green Greens is Green Greens. It's from Kirby. Come on, we all know Green Greens. There's Green Greens, and Kirby Retro Medley. They all fit the Green Greens of Green Greens. Green Greening, I mean, great going, Green Greens, complete match. While the game says the stage is from Star Fox, true Star Fox fans like myself know that this stage is based on the city's appearance in Star Fox 64. But because the Corneria theme from Star Fox 64 doesn't appear anywhere in Smash, let's just pretend that this is based on Star Fox for the SNES. Because that Corneria theme is here. Hooray for fudging the rules. I think a better argument for a complete match would be that the Smash Ultimate version of the stage is very heavily based off of Corneria's appearance in Star Fox Zero, and that stage's theme is present in Smash. So we'll go with that instead. Complete. Venom is another location from the Star Fox series. For whatever reason, Venom's background music has appeared in Smash since Melee, but as the music for Corneria for some odd reason. Apparently Sakurai said they were switched based on vibes. King shit, honestly. Anyways, the theme is now called Star Fox Medley, and only the beginning of the piece is the Venom theme. But thanks to how Ultimate handles its music, you can pop it on and really feel like you're flying through Venom. Complete. The origins of Pokemon Stadium are kinda hard to pin down. It could be a representation of the gym battles, but more likely it's a reference to the anime, which had tournament battles on a similar field, in which the terrain would change depending on which Pokemon were fighting. And, well, it's not like there's any music from the anime in Smash Bros. So, yeah, might just have to leave this one alone. If you consider this just a representation of the kind of place where Pokemon battles take place, then any battle theme in the series would probably do, but I'm gonna go ahead and call this one a Smash original. Contest. Get in there. On It from Earthbound is a pretty easy one. The stage takes place around the starting town of Earthbound, and the music that plays for this town is right there, On It theme / Winter's theme. On It also includes Ness's house, like way in the background, in which Pollyanna plays, and it also has a drugstore where Humoresque of a Little Dog plays, so no matter what, we're all set for a complete match. Mushroom Kingdom 2 is another easy peasy one. It's a representation of the kind of levels that appear in Super Mario Bros. 2. The Mario 2 overworld theme appears in Smash as a remix, the original, and as a version that I think was from Mario vs. Donkey Kong. It's just, it has the worst harmonies, listen to it. It just sounds so painfully out of tune. But this isn't a music ranking, so unfortunately my analysis must end there. Brinstar Depths is another one of those kind of made up for Smash stages. Brinstar is a location in Metroid, but it's not like a lava-filled high-tech zone. And I guess Brinstar Depths is where Kraid is supposed to live? I don't remember Kraid's house being a massively spanning pool of lava next to a big platform he kinda just spins around. But maybe I just don't know Kraid as well as I thought I did. Anyways, Kraid's area theme, Kraid's Hideout, does appear in Brinstar Depths as, well, Brinstar Depths. So like, I guess you could say that this is a complete match, but I just kind of feel dirty about it. Okay, Big Blue. That's way easier. A spanning ocean planet from F-Zero, Big Blue's track theme from the original game is lovingly remixed several times, giving us another quick and easy complete match. Foresight is also pretty easy, being pretty handedly based on the Metropolis featured as the fourth major town in Earthbound. Although, the stage is set during the night, and Foresight is only ever seen during the day. You know what is seen at night? Moonside. Perhaps this is the Mirror Realm all along. Although then we wouldn't get any matches because shockingly this lovely track isn't in Smash Bros. So, Foresight it is, with the remix in Ultimate, Melee, and a little section of Humoresque of a Little Dog that all rep the bustling scene. Moving right along to the stages from Brawl, Delfino Plaza has a bright, sunny, Italian-inspired theme that's been remixed for Smash Ultimate. Easy peasy. Since this one is pretty boring, I'll give another. The remix of the underground theme from Super Mario Bros. Is also befitting of Delfino Plaza, as SMB's underground theme plays while Mario is scrungling around in the town's sewers. Either way, complete match. Mushroomy Kingdom is the inexplicably apocalyptic version of 1-1 from Super Mario Bros., which means that all of our Mario themes from before are welcome here. Come on in, boys! It's time for our first failure in a while. Figure 8 Circuit from Mario Kart DS simply does not have its music in Smash. There's one theme for this track, it's iconic, it's bangin', it's simply not here, as opposed to all of the other various circuit themes that made it in. The worst argument I can make is that, in the remix of Super Mario Kart's Mario Circuit, there's a section that mimics the countdown jingle at the beginning of the race. And that jingle does appear in Mario Kart DS, meaning it'd be played before a race on Figure 8 Circuit, but that feels like reaching at straws. Gonna call this one a failure. WarioWare Inc. features a collection of various microgames that are mostly based on ones featured in WarioWare Inc. Mega Micro Games. And if the music is set to the track theme WarioWare Inc., all of these little games will actually get their original music played. They went out of their way to get these microgames to feel as authentic as possible, and having the original music play is a great touch. Complete match. Bridge of Eldin is an area of Twilight Princess's Hyrule Field that undergoes a terrorist attack perpetuated by a pig riding a horse. Twilight Princess's Hyrule Field theme is featured in Brawl under the name Main Theme Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess. Alternatively, when Midna is suffering from Twilight disease, it's been far too long since I played Twilight Princess to remember what's wrong with her, you can visit the Bridge of Eldin with her dying on your back. Since Midna's Lament plays for the entire sequence, the Smash remix of Midna's Lament could also be considered a match. Either way, complete match. Norfair is a lava-filled subsection of Planet Zebes, or Zebes, I don't know which is correct, and was first featured in Metroid for the NES. Although aesthetically it's way more similar to Norfair's appearance in Super Metroid, we're gonna go ahead and say this is representative of Norfair's appearance in Metroid for the NES, because otherwise we would lose. Smash has a remix of Norfair's theme from Metroid 1, one that takes a lot of creative liberties, but it still counts. Complete match being held together by duct tape. Frigid Orphan, that says Frigate Orpheon, is a space pirate ship where Samus is forced to fight the Parasite Queen. And despite not having played any Metroid Prime, I promise it's very high on my list, using my superior intellect, I can deduce that the theme versus Parasite Queen featured in Smash is likely to be a remix of the music that plays for the Parasite Queen fight in Frigate Orpheon in Metroid Prime. So yeah, complete match. Yoshi's Island from Yoshi's Island isn't based on a specific area of Yoshi's Island from Yoshi's Island, especially considering that every time the weather changes on Yoshi's Island, the background and aesthetics change to match an all-new area of Yoshi's Island. That's a lot of Yoshi's Islands to say that pretty much any level theme from Yoshi's Island works here. Obstacle Course, Yoshi's Island Brawl, and Yoshi's Island 3DS and Wii U are all acceptable choices. And if you want to include future depictions of Yoshi's Island, Wildlands from DS and Bandit Valley from New Island are also acceptable. Either way, your recreation of Yoshi's Island from Yoshi's Island will have the correct Yoshi's Island music to go along with it. I think I'm having a stroke. Howl Bird is a stage based on the Meta Knight's Revenge section of Kirby Superstar, in which Meta Knight uses his airship to try and conquer Dreamland, prompting Kirby to stage an invasion of the vessel to save the day, or something along those lines. As one could probably guess, the remix Meta Knight's Revenge covers the music that plays for the majority of this section of Kirby Superstar, giving us another complete match. So Lilac Cruise is kinda confusing. It's kinda based off of a mishmash of Star Fox things, and as someone whose familiarity with Star Fox is considerably limited, this doesn't bode well for me. So save me, Smash Wiki. According to those good folks, this stage is mostly based on Star Fox Assault, but has elements from Star Fox and Star Fox 64 as well. So, what's the origin of this stage? Smash itself says Star Fox. It's not very helpful. Okay, the page for Space Armada Remix says that the parts of the original Space Armada level from Star Fox SNES are the inspiration for Lilac Cruise, so let's go with that. It's a match. Definitely. Pokemon Stadium 2 is in the same boat as the first Pokemon Stadium, as in we're just gonna sweep this one under the rug and pretend it doesn't exist. Port Town Arrow Drive is literally accompanied by a remix called Port Town. I don't think this one is too difficult to figure out. The end of the F-Zero medley also features a bit of Port Town. Complete match. Oh god, it's another mishmash stage. What the hell is Castle Siege even supposed to be? Okay, it's from the Fire Emblem game with castles, a throne room, and lava. That really narrows it down. I'm gonna say the presence of the Black Knight in the throne room means this is based on Path of Radiance, but then again, they removed him from the Ultimate version. But I need to put something for this, and I feel like the aesthetics of the stage, as well as the fact that it was the most recent Fire Emblem game at the time of Brawl's release, kind of point to this being a Path of Radiance stage. So if these are Path of Radiance maps, Crimean Army Sortie could be applicable, since it's a map theme from late game Path of Radiance. But we can do better. These are generic maps, so who really knows what music plays on them? But what if there's a theme that plays on every map no matter what? That's right, Victory is Near plays whenever there's only one enemy left on a map, meaning no matter which map these are supposed to be, if we call them Path of Radiance maps, this song would surely play on them. Oh god, this video is so stupid. Oh, also there's Against the Black Knight, but that one just feels like it shouldn't count. That's a theme that plays when a player unit is specifically fighting the Black Knight, but since he's kind of just sitting on his throne, he's not really fighting anyone. But, okay, if you spawn his assist trophy... No, this is getting dumb. Moving on. Distant Planet is pretty vague. Like, there's several areas on PNF 404, all with their own music. One of those being the Forest of Hope, whose theme is repped in Smash. And the background of Distant Planet kind of resembles the Forest of Hope, probably more than any other stage. On top of that, the Stage Clear theme plays at the end of each day on this planet, so this one's also kind of fitting. But damn, what a weird direction this one goes. Is this what plays on the planet after Olimar leaves for the day? Do all the Bulborbs have some sort of weird folksy rave? Complete match. Smashville is based on the various towns featured in the Animal Crossing series. Though the curve of the town behind the stage gives the whole thing a Wild World look, the stage itself is denoted as simply being from Animal Crossing, so we'll just consider them both as the stage's original appearance. Title theme Animal Crossing could count here, as the title theme from the original game was set to a villager leaving their house and walking around town. Wild World's title theme is the same, so both of those kinda count. 2 AM from Wild World counts, but only if you stay up really late, or change your system clock, but that would be very dishonest. Then, if you want to count the various buildings around town, Town Hall and Tom Nook's store in the Roost both could count. And then, of course, every Saturday night, KK Slider comes to town, so if you specifically play on Saturday and get a random KK Slider concert, congratulations, you have a complete match on your hands. So, yeah, let's go with the match for this one. New Pork City is the final area of Mother 3, and its music is fully remixed in Smash, titled You Call This a Utopia. Not a lot to talk about here, just a quick clean match. You could also say that the Mother 3 love theme counts here, because I love Mother 3! Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Summit is a kind of loose interpretation of the stages from Ice Climbers. I've played that game before, and I certainly do not remember the part where the top of the mountain breaks off, slides into the Arctic Ocean, and is then attacked by an evil fish. But hey, in the 80s you had to use your imagination for that kind of thing, so maybe it was all in there and I wasn't creative enough to see it. But let's just say this is from Ice Climber so we can all move on with our lives. Which means, I guess, Ice Climber Melee and Ice Climber Brawl both count. I'm sure we can all agree on that. Complete match. Skyworld is the third level in Kid Icarus and one of the worst stages in Super Smash Bros. These platforms, another time. Interestingly, the two main themes from this stage aren't from Skyworld, but two completely different Kid Icarus levels. Luckily, the Kid Icarus Retro Medley does feature a section of Skyworld, so we can all breathe easily. If you want to talk about later appearances of Skyworld, we can talk about how it's all broken and ruined in Kid Icarus Uprising, with Destroyed Skyworld playing in the background. Hooray! Shadow Moses Island is an area from the original Metal Gear Solid, an area Snake has to infiltrate for some mission or another. I'm not the most well-versed on my Metal Gear. What I do know, however, is that when Snake is caught by a guard, spotlight, whatever, the game enters Alert Phase, in which this theme plays, remixed in Smash as Encounter. And since the spotlights in this stage trigger a representation of the Alert Phase, I would say this is a complete match. Luigi's Mansion is an ooky spooky creepy house that Luigi won in a mansion contest. The game has basically one song that plays throughout the various hallways of the mansion. And don't you worry, that theme is here, as main theme Luigi's Mansion, as main theme Luigi's Mansion Brawl, and as Luigi's Mansion Series Medley. But we can go deeper. In the conservatory, a room that's absent from the Smash representation of the mansion, but trust me, it's there, lurking in the back, Luigi can hump the various instruments to get a nice rendition of the Mario theme playing. Which means every version of the Mario theme can count here. Let's get out the list. On top of that, piano playing ghost and my childhood crush Melody Pianissima gives Luigi a music quiz in which she plays one of two songs. Either the athletic theme from Mario 3, represented in the Super Mario Bros. 3 medley, or the Super Mario Bros. Underwater theme. So depending on how deranged you are, take your pick. Pirate Ship is kind of a failure, in the way that the music that plays while on Wind Waker's pirate ship isn't featured anywhere in Smash. Not in the back half of a specific remix, not in a medley, nowhere. Lucky for us, however, there are other elements of this stage. You can ride on the King of Red Lions, you can stand on some rocks. The Final Destination version of this stage is based on the various guard towers in the sea. So I think there's plenty of reason to think that the Great C/Menu Select should count here. Standing in the King of Red Lions with this theme playing surely captures the feeling of adventure from Wind Waker. Despite Pirate Ship itself being a non-starter, let's call this one a complete match, maybe a partial match. These terms don't mean anything. Spear Pillar is a location from the endgame of Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. Whether you want to say that the background music from Spear Pillar counts, or the battle between either Dialga or Palkia counts, Battle Dialga Palkia / Spear Pillar has us covered. Easy match. So, 75M doesn't have any music. 25M does. In fact, it plays here in the Smash stage of 75M. But 75M itself, silent except for the incessant, never-ending sound of the springs. Besides that and a few other sound effects, the only other music you'd hear in 75M is the level clear jingle, which is found in the Donkey Kong / Donkey Kong Jr. medley. So, kind of. If we move away from the original appearance of 75M and check out its appearance in DK94, we have a bit more success, as that game's version of 75M features the same music as 25M. Either way, we're gonna call this one a partial match. Similarly to 75M, the stage from Mario Bros. Doesn't exactly feature any music outside of the opening jingle, but damned if that opening jingle doesn't play right at the start of the stage's music. So, complete? Partial? Let's say complete. Cannon Bow is a game mode in the music creation game Electroplankton, in which little tadpole guys hit some leaves to make vibraphone noises. And within the stage itself, if the little tadpoles hit the leaves, they make the same sounds they make in the original game. Another easy one, Green Hill Zone, is based on the first level in Sonic the Hedgehog. That stage's music, Green Hill Zone, is in Smash as Green Hill Zone. No hoops to jump through, no frills, just an easy, complete match without me having to talk about Sonic more than I'd like to. From Smash 4 onward, I think these are going to get a bit more straightforward. Mostly gone are the strange stages that are loose interpretations off of specific games and series. Starting with 3D Land, a stage that kind of takes a tour through various environments from Super Mario 3D Land, including a grassy area and an ocean area. The Smash Remix ground theme / underwater theme Super Mario 3D Land has both of these covered. Complete match. Golden Plains is similarly pretty easy. The stage is based on some of the early levels from New Super Mario Bros. 2, and the music that accompanies these levels is repped by ground theme New Super Mario Bros. 2 and athletic theme New Super Mario Bros. 2. Also, since New Super Mario Bros. 2 lazily copies all of its music from New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and that game's ground theme is a remix of the ground theme from New Super Mario Bros., main theme New Super Mario Bros. Is also a match here. Hooray for laziness. The Paper Mario stage is based on 3 different moments from the Paper Mario series. And by Paper Mario series, I mean Thousand Year Door and Sticker Star. Really repping the best and the worst here. The first and third part of the stage both hail from different Sticker Star levels, with their original music intact via the Paper Mario medley, specifically Blue Skies, White Clouds for the Hither Thither Hill section, and then the remix of the airship theme that plays for the Bowser Sky Castle theme. Since the game uses a remix of the airship theme for this part, airship theme Super Mario Bros. 3 also counts as a match. The trouble comes for the stage's middle section, the SS Flavion. This part of the stage is literally based on a random cutscene from the middle of Thousand Year Door, which is just such an odd choice. The music that plays for this segment of the Paper Mario medley is the Rogueport theme, which doesn't actually play for this section, meaning that this stage is kind of a failure, as the theme for this cutscene is nowhere in Smash Bros. However, there are parts of the game in which the SS Flavion is docked in Rogueport, so it is possible to be on the ship while the Rogueport theme is playing. Because of that, what the hey, let's give this one a complete match.
Success!
Gerudo Valley is another simple one. This area is a distinct location in Ocarina of Time, and its original background music is present as this absolutely bangin' Latin-style guitar piece. Complete match.
Complete!
Spirit Train is in a similar boat. The music that plays while Link is conducting the aforementioned locomotive is repped by the theme, Full Steam Ahead.
Complete!
Dreamland GB cycles through pretty much every level in the original Kirby's Dream Land, and if the music is set to Kirby Retro Medley, these levels all have their original music. On top of that, the Green Greens level section is repped by 2 different Green Green remixes, and Dedede's Boxing Arena is repped by 2 different remixes of Dedede's theme. Very easy match.
Complete!
Unova Pokemon League's theme from Pokemon Black and White is actually not featured in Smash. Luckily though, the stage isn't just the Unova Pokemon League, as it also features the in-game invasion of End's Castle, which has a theme that does appear in Smash. The theme is for the inside of the castle, while this stage is set outside the castle, so it's not a perfect match or anything. The Reshiram and Zekrom fights are also kind of included, but again, that fight takes place within the castle, not outside, so I'll call this one a partial match.
Success!
Prism Tower is located within Lumio City. Lumio City's theme appears in Smash. You can do the math here. Perfect match.
Complete!
Mute City SNES is a representation of the first F-Zero track in all of its 16-bit glory. Mute City has like a million different remixes in Smash, so just scroll them by on the screen. Okay, that was only 4. I really thought there were more, but you get my drift. Perfect match.
Complete!
Magicant is a recurring location in the Mother series, although its Smash appearance is mostly based on how it looked in Mother 1, with a couple elements from Earthbound popping up here and there. Sad to say that the beautiful music for Dungeon Man doesn't appear on this stage. But the music for Magicant from Mother 1 has been remixed twice. Nice.
Complete!
Arena Ferox is the setting of Fire Emblem Awakening's Chapter 4, and this map's background music is Duty, a recurring map theme in Awakening that also appears in... I guess I don't have it unlocked. Well, Internet says it's there, so I'm gonna have to take Internet's word for it. Beyond this, random bonus maps can take place at Arena Ferox, and during these fights, Conquest plays, which is also present in Ultimate's tracklist. Beyond this, Arena Ferox also appears in Fire Emblem Engage, and its background music is a remix of Destiny and Id Purpose, both of which have remixes in Smash. So we have a lot of bases covered here.
Complete.
Reset Bomb Forest is a narrative stage telling the story of some big Kid Icarus Uprising spoilers that Sakurai decided he didn't care about keeping secret. The Smash remix Wrath of the Reset Bomb goes along with the narrative beats of the stage, meaning it's one of the better fitted matches we have. Complete match.
Complete.
Moving away from the death and destruction of the Reset Bomb, Tortimer Island is pure vacation vibes, with the titular island's original music making its way right into Smash, known as Tortimer Island Medley. The first half of the piece represents just exploring the island regularly, while the back half is the music for specific island tours. Sometimes on this stage, Cappen's boat will sail in, and that boat's theme, specifically Cappen's song, this little ditty he sings while you transport to the island, is also present in Smash. So we got ourselves a twofer.
Complete.
Balloon Fight continues the tradition of arcade/NES games being represented as faithfully as possible. The Smash Remix Balloon Fight medley perfectly recaptures the original 8-bit theme that plays for this specific game mode.
Complete.
Our first failure in a minute. Despite its decently large presence in Smash, Nintendogs only has 2 music tracks in the series, and they're both remixes of the Bath Time theme, and unfortunately, the stage isn't Bathroom. So, for the first time in a while, we don't have a match. Is what I would have said. I'm not that familiar with Nintendogs, but what I do know about it is that it loves its little Mario references. Would it be wild to think that the Mario theme could somehow be hidden within this game's paws? And sure enough, the player can find various music boxes while out on walks, and in the Chihuahua and Friends version of the game, there exists a Mario box which plays the Mario theme. And I think you can play this in the living room. Even though Chihuahua and Friends isn't the original version of Nintendogs, I don't think... Oh, also, I wrote that whole thing without realizing that that you can't play Mario songs on Nintendogs because those aren't the same series. So that was all for nothing.
Failure.
No match. The Find Me stage is based on the Castle of Darkness, the final area of Find Me 2, which is basically the same game as Find Me 1. It's complicated. It's really not that complicated. Anyways, this is where the Dark Lord is fought, both in the original game and in the Smash stage. And the Dark Lord's character theme is remixed in Smash, meaning we have another match even if you have to scroll down for it for some reason.
Complete.
Tamagotchi Life is a stage based on the apartment complex from the game with the same name as the stage. And this one's kind of a stretch, because the only music from Tamagotchi Life that appears in Smash is the main island theme, but this stage is technically of the apartment building which has its own music. I could give it a partial match because you can kinda see the apartment building from the main view of the island, but I think this is just gonna be a failure.
Failure.
PictoChat doesn't have any music. That being said, it does have some iconic sound effects that are mostly all featured in the Smash themed PictoChat. Yeah, partial match.
Success.
Mushroom Kingdom U is based on a few level themes from New Super Mario Bros. U. Said game's ground theme appears in all of its kinda boring glory in Smash. Ergo, complete match. Mario Galaxy has a bunch of various planets and spaceships whirling around, but the main planet that the fight takes place on is based on the Gateway Galaxy, which is awkward because that theme isn't anywhere around here, We have Good Egg, Comet Observatory, Gusty Garden, Sky Station, Melty Monster, Bowser's Galaxy Generator, so many different galaxy themes, and yet no Gateway Galaxy theme. Which is fair. Despite how pretty it is, it may be a little too calm and serene to really justify putting in a fighting game. There's a few airships flying around in the background, so a case could be made for the airship theme, but I think that's too much of a stretch even for me. Mario Galaxy is going to be a failure. Is what you thought I was going to... No, but this time, no, it's a failure.
Failure.
Mario Circuit from Mario Kart 8. Mario Circuit, Mario Kart 8. This one's not hard to put together. Complete match.
Complete.
Skyloft's main background music is not in Super Smash Bros., interestingly, so I feel like a complete match here isn't obtainable. What is true, however, is that the Ballad of the Goddess is playable on Skyloft. Partial match.
Success.
The main theme for the Great Cave Offensive section of Kirby Superstar is the main theme for the Great Cave Offensive stage in Super Smash Bros. Love when it just works out like that. The Kirby Boss Medley also includes the Kirby Superstar boss theme, which is heard for the various boss fights of the Great Cave, so any way you want to crack it, we've got a complete match.
Complete.
The Kalos Pokemon League is a tough one. The main two themes for this stage in Ultimate are the Trainer Battle theme for X and Y and the Victory Road theme from X and Y, neither of which play inside of the Kalos Pokemon League. I think the closest we're gonna get here is X and Y's Champion Battle theme, which technically does play within these hollowed halls. So there you go, partial match.
Success.
You have to scroll to get to the Coliseum Series medley on the stage literally titled Coliseum. Why is this not a default option in Smash Ultimate? Who can say? Coliseum isn't really based on any Fire Emblem's arena in particular, so any game's arena theme works here. Coliseum Series medley consists of the arena battle themes from Genealogy of the Holy War and Binding Blade, which are themselves remixes of the regular battle themes from Shadow Dragon and Genealogy, which is kinda funny in its own right. Fire Emblem loves doing this cute thing with its arena themes. The Shadow Dragon remakes theme is from Path of Radiance, Blazing Blades arena theme is from Tharsia, Sacred Stone's arena theme is the battle theme from Fire Emblem Gaiden. That one's in Smash, isn't it? Alright, add Fight 1, Fire Emblem Gaiden, Lord's Showdown, and Those Who Challenge Gods to the pile, I guess. We have a complete match in many ways. Flat Zone X is just a collection of various Game & Watch games, none of which have music. They do have sound effects though, and a lot of these sound effects are featured in both Flat Zone and Flat Zone 2. So make of that what you will. Partial match? Partial match. None of these words really mean anything anymore. I fear that my lack of knowledge on Kid Icarus Uprising could screw me over here, but I think the only match here for Palutena's Temple is Destroyed Sky World. This theme plays late into the game in a version of Palutena's Temple that's been decimated after the goddess's possession. Or something like that. Either way, this seems like a match to me.
Complete.
Gamer's another one of the best matches in the franchise, at least musically. Not only is it a complete match, but the music, sound effects, all of that are completely in line with the original minigame from Game & Wario, also known as the only good part of that whole game besides Pictionary. It makes the stage feel like an authentic replication of the game, right down to those harsh chromatic chords that start playing when Mother arrives. Complete match. Garden of Hope is a level from Pikmin 3, a stage in Super Smash Bros., and a song that plays on the Garden of Hope stage in Super Smash Bros. Not really much else to discuss. We're all squared up here.
Complete.
Town and City is a stage split between a town and a city. Yeah, cool. Anyways, while none of the city folks' hourly music is present here, the game uses the same title theme as Wild World and has a similar title sequence with a random villager just kind of wandering around town. So I'm gonna say that counts for the town section, And since Plaza/title theme also covers the city theme, this song perfectly matches both sections of the stage, giving us another complete match.
Complete.
Wii Fit Studio is based on the setting of the yoga lessons in the game Wii Fit. The chill, lo-fi beats that accompany the yoga lessons are represented as a track in Smash simply titled Yoga. Easy match.
Complete.
Boxing Ring is themed after the various boxing rings from the Punch-Out series, but based on the logo in the middle of the ring, it's safe to assume that this stage is based off of the World Circuit from Punch-Out for the Wii. Since the World Circuit theme is in the game, we have another match.
Complete.
Gar Plane, Gar Plane, Gar Plane, Night, Car, Plane. Feel like this one doesn't need much explanation.
Complete.
So, Duck Hunt is one of those games that doesn't really have a lot of music during the main gameplay, which is what the Smash stage is based on. Still, the opening jingle and that little ditty that plays when you shoot a duck are both prominently featured in the Duck Hunt medley, both versions of it. And that sounds good enough to me. Complete match.
Complete.
Wrecking Crew is a pretty cool reimagining of the original NES/arcade game, and that goes for the music as well. The jazzy swinginess of the bass, horns, and piano make me feel like I'm the suave, chill city demolition guy. But this isn't a music ranking, so I don't know what I'm talking about. Yes, the main BGM for Wrecking Crew is featured prominently in both Wrecking Crew medleys, giving us a complete match.
Complete.
Pilot Wings is a stage that takes place during the Light Plane game from the original SNES Flight Simulation Classic. This game's music is front and center, as Light Plane but a remix this time, Light Plane for 3DS and Wii U, and Light Plane Vocal Mix for 3DS and Wii U are all present. Although the planes do eventually fly over to Woohoo Island from Pilot Wings Resort, so Turbo Jet and Pedal Glider could also fit here. Either way, this is a complete match for sure. Speaking of Woohoo Island, it's also the setting for Wii Sports Resort, which is what the Wii Sports Resort Smash stage is based on. The island is kind of present during the title sequence of Wii Sport Resort, so I think it'd be okay to count all the various renditions of that game's title theme. Wii Sports Resort version 2, title theme Wii Sports Resort, Wii Sports Series medley. Complete match, kind of. I'm gonna be honest, I have never played or interacted with Sonic Lost World, so I think my lucky stars that they made this one very easy for me. Windy Hill Zone is matched musically with Windy Hill Zone 1,
Complete.
or at least I would be shocked if it wasn't. Wily Castle is an endgame stage in just about every mainline Mega Man game, typically as the last hurdle of the entire game. Problem is, its first appearance is Mega Man 1, and that game's Wily Castle music is not anywhere in the extensive track list from the Mega Man series. So we're gonna have to go into the future by one game. Because at the end of the Mega Man 2 medley, we get a rendition of Mega Man 2's Wily Castle theme. On top of that, if we jump all the way to Mega Man 9, we get Dr. Wily stages 1 and 2 in music form. Flash in the Dark and We're Robots, both bangers. Mega Man's got some great tracks. Since there's technically nothing from the original version of Wily Castle, I think I'm gonna have to call this one a partial match by my own extremely arbitrary rules. So we'll go with that.
Success.
So Pac-Land is based on a 1984 arcade game of the same name, a game which has absolutely no music featured in Smash. The location Pac-Land does appear in some future Pac-Man games, but they don't have any representation in Smash's OST either. The best I can do is that this sound effect from the Pac-Land's Game Over sound is vaguely similar to this sound effect in the Smash track Pac-Man. But that makes me feel like a conspiracy theorist, so we're gonna call this one a wash. No match.
Failure.
Alright, we're going from no match to way too many matches. This one probably has the most so far. Super Mario Maker is a randomly generated stage that switches between the styles of Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. 3, Super Mario World, and New Super Mario Bros. U, which means all of the level themes from all of these games potentially match. For starters, all of our Super Mario Bros. Overworld themes are a match here, just put them up on the list. Then we have ground theme Super Mario Bros. 3, both the original and the Melee remix, and levels with the Super Mario Bros. 3 athletic theme could have levels with this background, so then there's also the Super Mario Bros. 3 medley, which features this theme pretty heavily. Then there's ground theme Super Mario World, and not the athletic, since that one's listed as a Yoshi song for some reason. Super Mario World medley also gives us the Mario World main theme, and of course ground theme from New Super Mario Bros. U. We could get into the various versions of the Superstar theme, because you could get a Superstar on any of these stages, but that's a can of worms I don't feel like opening. But the most fitting version of all is ground theme Super Mario Series, which switches the music to the appropriate background track depending on what level theme is currently active. Top it off with the Super Mario Maker title theme, which features a playable level behind the title's UI, and that's, what, like 15 matches?
Complete.
Suzaku's Castle from Street Fighter II is Ryu's official stage, which makes this one pretty easy to figure out. Ryu Stage Type A, Ryu Stage Type B, and Ryu Stage are all matches.
Complete.
Midgar is one of the major settings of Final Fantasy VII, and is the main setting for the opening of the game, which is why opening Bombing Mission is the perfect match here. FF7's battle theme also works here. There's a number of battles that take place in Midgar, both in the original game and on the stage itself. So let the battles begin, fight on, those who fight AC version, those who fight further AC version, all apply. Very nice. There may be more matches, but my knowledge of Final Fantasy VII runs a little thin, so I'll just count the ones we have in dip. Complete match.
Complete.
Bayonetta 1 opens with a really cool battle on the face of a clock tower falling through the sky. It looks like this. The music that plays for that opening battle is called One of a Kind. There it is on Smash's tracklist. Here's me recreating the opening scene of Bayonetta. Wow, look at me go.
Complete.
And we're off to the Super Smash Bros. Ultimate stages. I think most of these are gonna be pretty smooth matches, starting with New Donk City Hall. The stage's default theme, Jump Up Superstar, is a match itself, as the top of City Hall is where Pauline performs the iconic song in Super Mario Odyssey. But that takes place at night, so I think we can do better. The band performance of the ground theme is also a match, but that is typically only heard inside of City Hall, not outside. So for the best match, we have to scroll down, like a lot, and click New Donk City. Now it feels like we're jumping building to building with the help of Cappy in the midst of an urban playground. Complete match.
Complete.
So the towers in Breath of the Wild have a unique dulcet piano theme that plays when Link is nearby. And God, something about hearing this theme is transporting me back to playing Breath of the Wild for the first time. I don't think I can ever feel that way in a video game ever again. Anyways, this piece isn't anywhere in Smash Bros. Cass has appeared on a tower before playing his accordion tune, meaning Cass's theme could be a match, but that was technically on Gerudo Tower, not Great Plateau Tower, so technically not a match. Best I can do here is the jingle that plays when Link activates a tower uses the Breath of the Wild leitmotif, meaning we technically have a match in the form of main theme, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, and Nintendo Switch Presentation 2017 trailer BGM. Both needlessly long titles, my god. I guess this is technically a complete match, but it just feels a little dirty for some reason. Moray Towers, like all stages in Splatoon, kind of just use whatever music it feels like on that particular day, meaning every Splatoon match theme from the first game is included here. Splatak, Splatak Again, Inker Sync, Seascape, Kraken Up, Metalopod, and Split and Splat. Add in Ink Me Up for when Moray Towers is the setting of Splatfest, and Now or Never, which plays on Moray Towers with 100% consistency, as it always plays for the final minute of a multiplayer Splatoon match. That's a pretty sizable list of matches. But uh-oh, Moray Towers appears in Splatoon 2 as well, which means Incoming, Rip Entry, Undertow, Don't Slip, and Dolphin Surge, Ebb and Flow, Acid Hues, and Muck Warfare all get added to the list. Okay, now we can move on. Dracula's Castle is probably the scariest stage in the entirety of Smash Bros. And the scariest thing that I can personally imagine. Dracula's Castle is like the setting of the entirety of the first Castlevania game in like a lot of other Castlevania games, but the stage itself is very specifically based on the top of the castle, where the big man himself is fought. If we count Dracula's Castle as like the whole game, we'd include Vampire Killer Again, Starker/Wicked Child, and Out of Time. But we can afford to be more specific here. Nothing to Lose, a remix from Castlevania Harmony of Despair, is a remix of the first stage of Dracula's battle from the first Castlevania game. And Black Knight, a remix from Castlevania the Arcade, is a remix of the second stage of the same Dracula battle. So together, these give you one full Dracula fight, which perfectly scores the top of Dracula's Castle. There's probably way more partial matches from future games, because there's like a million Castlevania tracks here, but we're gonna leave this here. Dracula's Castle is a complete match. Ah, mementos. Trains, jazz, escalators, what's not to love? While the normal background music for mementos isn't present in Smash, last surprise, the game's main battle theme can be heard while fighting the various scrunglows down below. If you're a little baby boy who's not good at getting first strikes, that is. Someone as pro as me would barely ever hear this song. It only plays for the failures who can't properly sneak up on enemies, but you know. It's very possible that Rivers in the Desert or Our Beginnings play in Mementos, but that would be in the late game, because those are late game songs, and I don't want to spoil myself on a game that I'm currently in the middle of playing. So we're just not gonna find out and give ourselves a complete match. I was gonna do the ever so timeless and funny bit of me failing to pronounce Yggdrasil, but then I realized it's actually not that funny and kind of an exhausted joke. But I'm also not gonna look up how to pronounce it, so I'm gonna assume this is correct. Anyways, Yggdrasil has a long history in the Dragon Quest series, with the Yggdrasil leaf appearing in Dragon Quest 2 and 3 before the mighty tree becomes an official location in Dragon Quest 4. It appears in a few other games after that, but Yggdrasil's appearance in Smash is very specifically based on its rendition in Dragon Quest XI, where the battle mainly takes place at an altar for the legendary tree. Anyways, the only two themes from 11 in Smash are the battle theme and the overworld theme, and as far as I'm aware, I don't think either plays while at the altar for the world tree. I could be wrong about this, but I think we have ourselves a non-match. Ah well. Dragon Quest fans, if I'm wrong, feel free to torch my house. I give you permission. Here's my address. Aw yeah. I've been waiting throughout this entire video to talk about one of my absolute favorite games, Banjo-Kazooie. And this one is such an easy match that someone who's never even looked at a Banjo-Kazooie game could figure it out. Spiral Mountain, Spiral Mountain. Grunty's lair is pretty prominent in the background of this stage, and in the original game, walking across the bridge triggers the theme for that area to start playing. And this theme is featured in the back half of the Gobi's Valley remix. So that's kind of another match. I got to talk about Banjo-Kazooie a bit more. Versus Kalungu is also heard kind of nearby, in a cave just off the side of Spiral Mountain and Banjo-Tooie. But that one's a bit of a stretch, so let's say we have two matches. King of Fighters Stadium is the first time in a while we've had a stage that's mostly an original mishmash of different elements from various King of Fighters games. So this one's kind of a non-starter. I could be wrong about this one, but I don't think there's anything that could be considered a perfect match. Again, King of Fighters fans, if this is wrong and upsets you, here's my address. Do with it what you will. Garreg Mach Monastery is the main hub of Fire Emblem Three Houses, and is also the site of a few specific battles. but important to note immediately is that the Fire Emblem Three House's main theme remix opens with a minor rendition of Garreg Mach's motif. So that's already a pretty quick match. Chapter 4's battle in this game takes place in Garreg Mach's mausoleum and features the Fodlan Winds theme, which is another less official match, as the stage theme never actually goes to the mausoleum, it just goes nearby in the church. The bell at Garreg Mach also happens to be the first few notes of the Fire Emblem main theme, meaning Fire Emblem theme could also be considered a match here. Good stuff. Spring Stadium. Spring Stadium. I love when they make it easy.
Complete.
So Minecraft World is a little big. Like, this basically encompasses the entire overworld of Minecraft, so you'd think there'd be an easy match here. And yet, a lot of the music in Smash isn't from Minecraft proper, but Minecraft Dungeons, Minecraft Earth, which was apparently an AR game I had never heard about before, and all of the songs from Minecraft are actually specifically battle minigame themes from the console edition. So where does that leave us? I think the best we're gonna do here is Holland/Dalarna from Minecraft Dungeons, which plays for the various camps throughout that game. And these camps kind of look like the little area playable in Smash. This is a partial match at best, which is surprising because Minecraft has a lot of really iconic music. Who can say? Northern Cave is basically a spoiler showcase for the end of Final Fantasy VII, which is crazy because they haven't even finished that series yet, ha ha ha. Luckily, we don't have to delve too deeply into this cave to learn its secrets, as this is the location of the final fight with Sephiroth, whose boss theme, One Winged Angel, is featured twice. Jenova's boss theme from Final Fantasy VII is also featured in Northern Cave, which gives us another match.
Complete.
Cloud Sea of Allrest is based on the beginning of Xenoblade Chronicles 2, when Forgotten Boy Rex is flying around on the back of his dragon Azurda. In this opening, Rex is accosted by a scary monster, triggering the game's battle tutorial, in which the standard battle theme plays, giving us a match with Battle Xenoblade Chronicles 2.
Complete.
Machina Dojo is a stage from Tekken 7, and its original music is remixed in Smash under the name Dojo Japanese Style Mix. Another very easy match.
Complete.
Which brings us to our final stage. And as expected of a grand finale, this one will be our hardest match yet. There. Scherzo di Notte. Hope I said that right. I know what a scherzo is. I don't know what a di notte is. I don't speak Italian. Anyways, it's the battle theme for Hollow Bastion, and is also there for a match. Meaning, we're done.
Complete.
Here's the total of complete matches, partial matches, and no matches up on the screen right now. Does this surprise you? Seem about right? I'm surprised by how many matches there are. At least when you squint and count a bunch of edge cases. But I think what's more interesting are the stages that lack any matches. How could you bring Figure 8 Circuit in without giving us Mario Kart DS's iconic circuit theme? Where the hell is all the Minecraft music? Either way, at the end of the day, none of this really means anything to anyone. You just sat through this whole video. And what did you gain from it? What did you really learn? That you can play pretend in Fourside because Fourside's original music is there? Shout out to my amazing Patreon subscribers. You guys make this all so much more doable with your support, and I appreciate each and every one of you. If you would like access to exclusive monthly videos and other benefits, check the Patreon link in the description of this video. I've been Fred the Monty Mole, and I'm honored to have wasted your time for the last hour or so. Give or take. What? I'm 28 years old, why is my voice cracking?